Hello and welcome to Firearm Freedom. This is going to be another First Impressions video. In today's First Impressions video, we are taking a look at the AC Unity MP5 stock. Before we get this video started, there are some links down in the description for ways that you can support the channel. One of the very first links down in there is the Firearm Freedom merchandise store. I have some sick t-shirts that I know you guys are gonna love, and I seriously appreciate you guys repping the brand that is Firearm Freedom. If you want to make sure this content is not being hidden from you here on YouTube, interact with these videos. Comment down below. Hit the like button. All of that stuff should make sure that these videos continue to pop up in your subscription feed. This is one that I am pretty freaking excited about. And you know what? I was really unsure. I didn't know because there is almost no information out there about the AC Unity MP5 stock. There are a few Reddit posts, and there are a few posts in the HK Pro forums, but there's not much out there at all. And this stock has been out there for quite some time. I didn't find a single video on YouTube about this stock. So I'm so happy to finally bring some content out about it and actually tell you guys my honest opinions about it, because I'm pretty impressed with this stock. It is riding on my newer HK SP5, and this rifle is just killing it at the range. There's a lot of stuff changing on this in the very near future, and we will be doing an upgrades video relatively soon. AC Unity makes a wide variety of magazines and also accessories. A lot of people don't realize they make, other than magazines, they make pistol grips, they make hand guards, and they also make stocks. And I have been following this for quite some time. Full disclosure, of course, what is my relationship with AC Unity? How did I get this stock? I don't necessarily have a relationship with AC Unity as a company. However, I do have somewhat of a relationship with RTG Parts. They are really cool folks over there, and they did send me this stock for free to check out. I requested it because I knew I was going to be doing this video on the SP5. I thought it'd be a great time to try it out, but they always want honest and unbiased opinions, and that's why I really love working with RTG. I have been following this stock getting ready to drop on RTG Parts for a very long time. I want to say like over a year. I've been just looking at their little tidbits and other things that they've been dropping and Easter eggs on their social media pages, and they have been talking about an MP5, or I should say HK roller delayed stock, for a very long time, and it's finally live. It's been live for a few months, but it does not necessarily have to be on an MP5. If you have an HK93 variation, that would also work as well. So there's a few other roller delayed guns that do take a similar end cap that would go on primarily an MP5, but on other calibers as well. In this case, you're going to see mainly folks using this on MP5 variations. And the issue that I have been seeing, and what drew me to this stock, is the insane, absolutely insane price and availability of MP5 stocks on the market today. I have an original German collapsible MP5 stock, and I bought that back in the day for about $399, and at the time I thought I was out of my mind paying $400 for a collapsible stock. Nowadays, that same stock that I have is going for $1,400 plus online. It's absolutely insane, the prices for a freaking stock. And on top of that, when you look at slightly more affordable variations like a B&T style side folding stock, they are a little bit more affordable. You're looking around $300, but they're really tough to find. And when you do find them in stock, again, you're still paying $300 for a folding plastic stock. And you get a lot of name and the flex coming behind MP5 accessories. And then AC Unity decided to drop their MP5 side folding stock at a price point of $130. So when I originally saw that, I was pretty blown away that they were going to be dropping that on the market for less than $150, coming in less than half of the price of any other side folding stock that I know of on the market for MP5s. I was very intrigued because all my other AC Unity magazines performed incredibly well, and they were always, again, like half the price of the other magazines that were out there. How am I liking the AC Unity MP5 stock so far? This stock has been awesome. So I've shot full auto UMPs, and I have tried a lot of setups with that B&T / UMP style stock, and I've never had an issue with it. And this feels damn near identical for about half the price point. And when we are comparing the two stocks side by side, unfortunately, I don't have a B&T stock here to directly compare, but there's a lot of good posts on HK Pro showing photos of the two stocks right next to each other, and they're damn near identical. This is going to have a side folding feature on the SP5, and you can still absolutely fire the gun when the stock is in the side folded position. You can still get very easily to the ambidextrous safety that's on that side, and you can even squeeze your finger underneath the stock and get to that. And of course, you can also get to the trigger without issue, and your ejection port is going to be free. Now, like any other side folding MP5 stock, it does not lock into place. So it's just going to be friction fit there, and they do have a tensioning screw that I would imagine you could tighten down a little bit. To get the stock back into action, you just simply grab the stock and fold it into place, and it's going to lock in. You have a really nice large button right here on the left-hand side of the stock, so it's really easy to get to and just fold it over to the other side. And unlike the B&T stock, AC Unity went ahead and actually gave you sling options, which is huge. There are kind of a lot of crappy sling options on MP5 stocks, and in this case, we have two QD slots here on the left-hand side. I would say, as a little bit of a note, I would love a way that they could actually be switched to the right-hand side, because my preference typically with a sling is to run it on the opposing side, and I am a right-handed shooter, and that's just so it's not rubbing up against my face here on this side. But I understand their reasoning there because, again, it is a side-folding stock, so in order to get it to fold properly, it's kind of tough to do that with a big QD swivel on the opposite side. So I'm not going to hit them too badly for that. And the only other difference when it comes to the B&T stock compared to the AC Unity is the slight differences in appearance. And most of those you're really not going to be able to tell unless you tip the stock upside down and you have these cuts of kind of serrations cut into the bottom of the stock. This would be my only other note to AC Unity. I don't know that they're bad in any way, shape, or form, but I also don't know that they're really adding anything. So I don't know that this is a totally necessary feature to have on to the stock in a future model. I would probably ditch the serrations because, again, they're not really adding all that much to the stock. And it's just the look thing. It doesn't really do it for me, but other people might really like it. And then they did add some lightning cuts up here on either side of the plastic. This, I do think, holds a little bit more value because it is going to be trimming down the weight. Now, it is a plastic stock, but with that being said, you know, I would prefer to cut weight wherever we can, and by shaving off some of those sections, it does cut down a little bit of that weight. And on top of that, it does add a little bit of a look factor there, and I don't mind the look of it at all. Now, the AC Unity stock is also going to come for $130 with all four of the recoil pads that you see here. In the lowest configuration, the stock measures in about 13.9 inches. And for those of you that are wondering, the overall length of the stock in the extended position and a full-size SP5 is almost exactly at 26.5 inches. So whether you're looking to fit in a bag or you're curious about a Form 1 or whatever, it's about 26.5. This is a pretty cool feature. You guys are looking at the different recoil pads and their shapes and all that stuff. How this works on the back, you have this small spring-loaded piece here, and by just pressing that in, super easy, it just pops right off. And now you can put in whatever recoil pad you want. So if you want this more funky one here, you just slide it on, push it up, it clicks into place, and you're good. Now you have this recoil pad here, which has this kind of interesting circular shape on the back. And I originally looked at these on the website, and I was kind of looking at pictures of them. And even when I first got them in the bag with the stock, and I'm like, man, these are kind of, hideously ugly on the back of the stock and they just look weird to me. Then right before this video, I tried all 4 of them to get a little bit of a better understanding before I actually hit record. And I'm not gonna lie, I was actually pleasantly surprised with how they felt. This guy here, having a little bit more of a shelf at the top, really did a good job of like grabbing my shoulder and just holding the stock exactly where I wanted it to be. So I don't mind these at all, and I think in running them at the range, although this one might look a little bit bizarre, it may actually run well for you when you are shooting the rifle at the range. That's a really cool feature, and you're not paying any extra for the recoil pad options. They just throw them in as a part of the stock, which again I really appreciate, because when you're looking at MP5 accessories, that is very rare. Most of the time you're seeing crazy prices for not that much of a product. The shooting footage that you guys are gonna see, I had the flat recoil pad on there, and that's what it just came with out of the box, and I had no issues with that at all. Of course, we're talking about a 9mm MP5, and the recoil is nothing, to say the least. So with a good stock, it doesn't make it that bad at all. Of course, the stock not only looks a lot better than a brace, but it's also gonna stabilize like it actually should. So shooting this SP5 with the AC Unity stock on the back was phenomenal. I had absolutely no issues there. There were no concerns at all that I had of the overall rigidity of the stock itself. I know that's a big concern with a lot of people, especially with a newer MP5 stock on the market, is how is it going to hold up? Is it going to be as strong as something like a BNT stock? And in my opinion, I don't foresee any issues with this stock. I mean, it is holding up. I can hold it right from that extension there, and I'm getting no movement whatsoever. It's holding up incredibly well. Of course, the weakest point on a side folding stock is going to be when it's in its folded configuration. That's always going to be the case, no matter what stock you go with, and I don't think that this is incredibly weak. I think it would still be able to hold up to a lot, but of course, it'll be its strongest in that open position there. As far as the internals on the stock, you do have an H buffer in there, and you have what looks like a small little plastic buffer that goes inside of the H buffer, and that's the first time I've seen that. I think it is about the same as the BNT stock, and then you also have an indent in there for your recoil spring, which is about standard. I had no issues at all with fitment on my SP5, and that's really nice because a lot of stocks that I've had before or other brace options sometimes can have just a hell of a time fitting on the back. Now that may be just due to the coating on the actual MP5 clone that you're using, but in this case, no issues whatsoever. It slid on, was not super loose, but was also not super tight. It was perfect, and I really, really like that quite a bit. Ultimately, guys, there's not much more to say about this stock. It may seem overly positive, and quite frankly, that's because I had an overly positive experience with the stock. I was really impressed with it, and I've been really impressed with a lot of other AC Unity products so far, so I'm pretty excited about it, and I think this stock, the more traction that it gets, is going to take off like crazy because people want just a reliable stock for their MP5 clone. And I got news for you guys. I love my collapsible stock for the flex, for the cool factor. It looks great. It's a German collapsible stock. They're crazy money right now. I get it. But for comfort at the range, those stocks suck. That's the reality of it. They suck to shoot. You can't get a good cheek weld. And if you're looking at actually using this gun in a very practical sense, the stock does not make it easy to do that. And this AC Unity stock, similar to a standard fixed stock on an MP5 or a BNT stock, they are just comfortable. You can shoot the gun well and aesthetics look great. So although it does not have as much flex as a cool, expensive collapsible stock, it is still an incredibly practical stock for the money, and I think they're phenomenal. If you guys have any other questions about this stock or anything else on the channel, you guys know the deal. Throw them down below in the comment section, and I absolutely will get back to you. While you're down there, check out that description for the links to support the channel, and as always, stay tuned for more great videos coming soon.